Alright, so I decided to do another video since I'm on this straightaway all the way through New Mexico on 40. So let's talk about Schneider. Alright, like I said, I don't have many complaints about companies. I was with Schneider for some years. I believe that I was instrumental in getting a lot of people over to Schneider, owner-operator status, and just over their period. Because it's actually a very good company, starting company. Their safety is top-notch. I don't think there's anybody in the industry that cares about safety more than Schneider does. So, all right, let's just start with Schneider, beginning, I guess. So, orientation was like 4 days, I think. 4 days, like Monday through Thursday. Thursday you can have your load. This is for owner operators. So Thursday you could have your load. You could book your load for like Friday pickup or whatever, and they'll give you a trailer. And you have to go get your trailer. So actually you can't book your load until you know where your trailer is. So I think by Thursday or Friday morning, something like that, they'll tell you where your trailer is. So then they'll deadhead you to the trailer, and you can book your load from wherever your trailer is to get out of there to go wherever, right? Most of the time to go home to get your stuff. So 4 days of that is honestly 4 long, tedious days of schoolwork. My God, of schoolwork in Schneider. It's like, Jesus. And I went through it twice. Luckily, the second time, a lot of this stuff, he was like, "Oh yeah, you know most of this." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So I did the work, but I still had to go through all of it, and it's like, but it helps if you don't know none of this stuff. It helps if you're just your first time being an owner operator or something like that. I mean, it really does, because you'll learn their system and you'll learn the stuff they want you to do. But some of it's like, come on, man. Like it's very tedious. Some of it's tedious, so. But overall, it was good. When I was in Green Bay, when I went up to Green Bay, it was pretty good. It was a good experience. Because you're so excited, and then on this third or second day or whatever, you get to see your truck that you picked out and all that stuff. So that's great. Now on to graduation. So now you're on the load board, and you get to pick your loads. So you're getting 65% of the load, and so whatever's posted on the load board is your 65%. So that's what you're going to get. So if you got you booked a load from Ohio to Pennsylvania and it's paying $16.50 or whatever, you're getting the $16.50. Okay, so that's how that works. You're getting the $16.50. And here's the thing: the number one thing I love about Schneider, the number one, was on the load board. It will show you the truck. It will show you there's an orange truck under the load. So there's an orange truck on this side of pickup, and there's an orange truck on this side of the drop. Most of the time that means, well, 99% of the time, that means it's a drop and hook. There's so many. So that's the one thing I love about Schneider. I rarely ever picked anything that you gotta freaking unload, like sit there and unload. One time I did a Walmart load, and I think it might have had drop and hook, but it's not. I went there, and I was there for 5.5 hours out of my life. But that's few and far in between. So that's the best thing I love about Schneider. Them dropping hooks, boy. You can pick up that load, get there, throw it in the yard, grab another trailer out of there. And so if they don't have a trailer, you can just call. You'll call, or I think there's there's an option on the Qualcomm now where you can put a thing and it'll tell you where the nearest trailers are. It's pretty cool. So and you just go grab a trailer and go to your next load. So you could plan out almost your whole week without, like, okay, let me give 2 to 3 hours or maybe 4 hours at this location of unloading time. No, you know when you get there, you dropping and you're hooking up to another trailer so you can run to your next load, pick it up, and be out. Number one thing, the best thing about Schneider, hands down to me. All right, so and it's easy because you don't talk to no one. The only time you talk to somebody is if it's like, okay, I need some clarification on this load about this and this, or you done messed up. That's about it, right? You don't really talk to anybody. So if you want some real independence out here, you start with Schneider. You can start with Schneider. There's another company, the one I'm at now, same thing. But I think the same thing goes with, no, it doesn't go with Landstar, because I think you gotta talk to, they got load boards, but you gotta talk to a lot of the brokers and stuff, which is probably a good thing, because you get better freight. Okay, so that's awesome. I need some stability on this thing. But so that's great. That's great about Schneider. What else? And the freight at times when freight's good, the freight is good. The freight is good. You just be on that bad boy. Remember, if you go back to my old videos, you can see that time when the freight's good, the freight's good. Now freight's even up higher than it was then. So I was making good money then. So imagine now, it's probably even way better. So you got that aspect, and you can make good money. You can do your own time. Now let's get to some of the strong points and things that you got to be cognitive of, which is, all right, you book these loads, you got to make sure you got your your payment and your insurance and all that stuff. You got to remember that for every week. So the thing about the truck payment is, now if you're going through Schneider Finance, which they afforded me the chance to get a truck. It was brand new 2015, the first time, the 2015 Freightliner. It was a 10 speed. And then as soon as the next year they came over with the Volvo automatics, I'll get out of this bull. And I got out and got in the automatic. And I didn't look back after that. I've never been in a stick after that ever again. So, and I'll never go back to a freaking stick, ever. I don't care what happens in the world. But ever. Like right now, my feet are just dangling. Like, I don't have to work. No. Okay, so. All right. And so that right there, I'm with. So I went to, I got in. You get in your truck, and most of them came with APUs, almost, and it was electric at that time. I don't know what they are now. They might be diesel, but they was all electric. So and it worked because you can turn that thing on, and for your little 10-hour break or whatever, and you look up and you don't use no fuel, like just maybe a piece of fuel, like oh my God, you're like, okay, this is where it's at. And so the trucks were good. Everything was good about that. The only thing is that truck payment. That truck payment, man, I'll tell you what, the truck payment and insurance. So at the time, I think my truck payment, I don't even remember, but it was something that it's like, I don't want to tell everybody. I don't want to tell everybody, my truck payment was high. I think I had it on the video, so everybody knows what it was. I just don't remember what it was, so long ago. But you had that 4 weeks, and it's like, God, that, if you took 4 weeks off, it's like, it's gonna take a minute to get out of this hole. And and then you include insurance, it's like, so that's what was crazy. So I'm gonna go to a story about it. So my truck went in the shop a couple times, but towards the end of my lease. So 3 years, I had a 3-year lease with that Volvo. And in the last year of that lease, I went in the shop 3 times. One time for a couple weeks, and got out the hole, whatever, started running, and then next thing you know, it went like the next month or the month after, it went down again, and it went down for like 3 weeks this time. So I'm like, God dang, you know. So then I had to come out the hole. It took me almost the whole month to get out of that hole. And that's not no cap. Like the whole month to get out of that hole. Get out of that hole. Get out of that hole, right? And so then the third time I'm in this November or December, and this happened, and it's the time where my contract is ending in December, and I can renew for another year or the 2 years in a, you know, whatever, and pay the truck off. I'll pay the truck off by the second year in a couple months or whatever. So I go down for a month, literally a month. Like, I'm literally calling these people every day, like, what's going on? Well, we can't get the part is freaking not even in stock anywhere. We got to order from this place and all this bull crap, right? So they finally get it fixed. And it's like it takes 31 days on the 31 days. And so then they call me, and you know, it's fixed. And I'm like, I'm talking to Schneider, like, yeah, I'm trying to book this load from what's it called? Well, we got to take you off hold. You can't book that load right now. You can't book that load right now. The reason why I couldn't book this load was because it was 31 days, and now I got to go back to Pennsylvania, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and get retrained. I got to go take another driver's test because I was down for 31 days, not 30 days, 31 days. So I try to dispute this, right? So I'm calling them and I'm doing all this. I'm like, hey, I called you on the 30th day talking about, can I get this done? They said, well, we'll see what's going on or whatever, because they didn't know what was happening, why I couldn't book the load. And so finally the next day they're like, hey, you know, this is why, and all that other stuff. And so I'm like, I called you yesterday about this though, so I would have been good. They was like, well, nothing was, you know, done or whatever. So whatever the case was, I had to go get retrained. I said, why do I have to go get retrained? It's because it's been 30. So you're saying I forgot how to drive in 30 days? Is that what you're telling me? It was like, well, it's just the rules we have. Why would you have this rule? You want me to be an independent contractor, but you got all these freaking company driver rules for these independent contractors. I'm confused. That's not even the whole thing. So by the second week, because this is the third time I went down, the second week, I'm like, hey, I need another truck, because can I get a loaner truck? Can I do whatever it is? Can I rent a truck or whatever so I can freaking continue driving, so I can make this, I don't be in a hole for a month, you know, however long this is going to take. Because it was like a transmission issue, and they had to, you know, fix it, whatever. And they said no. That's the thing about it. They literally told me no, they don't do that. So, day 31, I told them all this. You guys told me no, I couldn't do this. Now I'm in a hole for a month. This is thousands of dollars, whatever it is, because of the truck payment, insurance, all that bull crap. And I'm like, it's going to take me almost a month to 2 months to get out of this hole and make money. I'm not going through that. And then, so at that time, she said, well, we can wipe that away and put that on the end or whatever, or no, we can cash out your maintenance and put that towards that, and then you'll only owe this amount, and then we'll put that on the end or something, whatever. And I was just like, you know what? My son was just born the month before, and I was like, nah, it's not worth it. I'm not re-signing this contract, because if y'all did this stuff and y'all wouldn't even give me another truck to continue driving, y'all didn't even make an effort, I'm straight. I'm good. I'm cool on that. Now now I still like Schneider, but that situation, my situation, called me to say I'm good. And so I was going to plan on just doing, since I just had my son, I was going to switch from that to go to they had a local thing out of Wintersville, Ohio. I had to go to Wintersville and do it's like Walmart over there. So, and do that, and it was whenever I wanted to work, basically. It was like you just had to work 2 days out of the week or something like that. Something awesome. that I could do. I was going to work like three days if I felt like it, and sometimes I'd work 4 to 5 days if I wanted to. So I was going to transition to that, and they was just like, when I did it, they was like, no. Okay, yeah, this is what happened. They said, no, we can't rehire you because you got terminated early. I said, terminated? What do you mean I got terminated? And they said, no, you got terminated from the when you was on. I said, no, I didn't. I just decided not to sign the renewed contract. And so that's how they left it. And I called everybody. I kept calling, saying, what's going on? They said, well, there's nothing we can do. It says this and that. He said, but you can try again in a year or something. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what is going on, man? So I'm like, I've been here 3, 4, 4.5 years, and this is how, what? Really? I made you guys so much money. So much money. Because I was even a team with Schneider, running them stupid cigarette loads for $5,500 across the whole country. And you had to check in every hour. And if you took a break longer than 30 minutes, you had to freaking call the United States government and ask them permission. Am I able to stop here for 36 minutes? It was the worst. That was the worst load I ever did in my life. And I was like, I'll never do this again. And it was only for $5,500. And I had to go from like up the east all the way to Arizona somewhere. No, all the way to Fontana, California. I tried to stop in Arizona. They said, no, you can't stop here. Is there a brick wall? They literally had the satellite looking at me and said, is there a brick wall behind you? I said, no, there's a fence. Well, you can't park there. You got to leave and got to go to a Schneider location. Now, I was going there because, it was a Flying J, and I can eat. I said, well, is there anywhere to eat and use the bathroom? They was like, yeah, there's some bathroom, but there's a snack machine in there. So I had to go stay there for the night at this little Schneider drop lot until the next day and drive to Fontana, because you had to be there exactly on time. You had to be there exactly at the time. So I had to time it correctly to get there for this load, right? So I had to stay there. And then go to and they wouldn't even let you stay in the Fontana. They wouldn't let you stay at the Fontana terminal. It's their terminal. It's theirs. There's nothing but Schneider trucks in there, and they wouldn't let you stay there. Does that make any sense? They wouldn't let you stay in the Fontana terminal, so you can wake up the next morning and all you got to drive is 30 miles to deliver. They wouldn't let you stay there. It was weird. It was the weirdest load I've ever done in my life, and I hate it. So I was done with that. But yeah, I made these dudes so much money, and this is how they treated me. So I still don't have a bad taste in my mouth because I did a lot of stuff with Schneider. I learned a lot, and I made a lot of money, right? I'm just saying that situation happened to me, and I don't think I've ever explained it on here. I've never put it out on here, what happened. I just said, hey, I left Schneider, or I'm done with Schneider, whatever. So that's what happened. I know you guys probably got some similar stuff that happened. That's why I don't like to talk about this stuff, because everybody has something that happened to them. You know, it just happens. But yeah. So I left there after that, and what did I do? Oh, so I left there after that, and I went home. I went home and stayed home for like 6 months, just playing with my son. You know, stayed home for 6 months. And then came out, and I went back as a to a fleet owner at Panther, where I was before. So I had an owner with Panther, and he was taking, like, man, I tell you what, he is who I model what's happening here when you drivers are, driving with me. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm going even further with him. Like, that's right. I told him I used to work for Panther for years or whatever. So he literally was like, well, have at it. So I picked all my loads. Like, that was the police going by. How I had to. Anyway, so he let me pick all my loads. Oh, well, not pick my loads, but because Panther calls you with load options, and you can say yay or nay, right? or negotiating. I was good at negotiating with Panther. So I was negotiating a lot of loads, and some loads he was like, hey, one time he called, just one time out of the whole time I was there, he called me. He said, hey man, I see they offered you a load. You didn't want to take? I said no, because if I take that load, the only loads that that's coming out of there is these loads, and I'm not doing those loads, out of there. So he's like, oh okay, all right. So I sat for a day. He's like, man, he's not driving. I sat for a day, but when they offered me the next load, it made up. I knew what was going on. So he fully entrusted me to pick these loads, and I was picking these loads. I was doing this stuff, and then the next thing you know, his truck. He shouldn't have gave me that truck in the first place. To toot my own horn, I feel like I'm a good driver, and I'm the top-notch driver. Why are you giving me, this truck that it looks good, but it might not, So the first day I got it, I drove it to the Flying J to get fuel, parked there. Woke up the next morning, oil everywhere. So they literally had to take it back up to the dealership in Michigan. They had to fix it. Then I was on the road, but then it went down twice after that. One time he had to put me in a hotel for like a week, and that hotel was like $110 every day. But I used my military discount to help him. But anyway, and then the next time after that, I had to put it in the shop by my house, and it was in there for a month. And I just like, bruh, I've been calling, trying to do this stuff, say what's going on, what's up. He's like, man, we'll see what's going on. It's gonna be, and that's all he was saying. He's like, man, send this job, man, it'll be all right. He's like, you have to house you chilling. That's what he was saying. I'm like, well, I appreciate that. And I'll put this on me. I could have told him, hey, I need another truck so I can keep rolling. And I almost 100% guarantee he would have got me another truck. I mentioned it in passing, but he said, let's see what's going on with this, because it was like maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks, whatever. And I'm already antsy, like, yeah, bro, I already know what's going to happen here. So he just was like, let's see what's going to happen. But a month goes by, and I'm like, hey, bro, what do you want to do with this truck? Because I'm done. I already done called Dart, got approved, got hired and everything. I'm already hired over there. I don't just leave a job and not have another. So I'm already hired and everything. I'm feeling what they're talking about, what they're putting down. I'm picking up what they're putting down, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's do this Dart stuff. And my mind, I'm already gone. But what happened was he called me and said, hey, Panther's is good, but it might not be the best fit. I got trucks over here making almost double amount that you're making over there at Panther, and we're running here. It was a hot shot, not a hot shot, but a expedited company. He said, my other trucks are over here, so I'm gonna get you another truck, and I'm gonna put you over here. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm already done, man. I said, I hate to tell you that, but I'm already done. And he's like, oh man, I hate to lose you as a driver, man. All that stuff, and I'm like, man, I do too, man. You was the best you was the best dude I ever worked for, But it's just, we gotta part ways, because it's been too long, and my mind's already made up to go somewhere else. So honestly, they got that dude, he must have had some drugs. They got the dogs out on him. But yeah, I'm like, my mind's already made up to go. So, but I did call him and talk to him and say, hey man, you was the best person I've ever worked for in this industry. I really appreciated the opportunity. He said, hey man, thank you, I appreciate that a lot. Because it was him and the partner, and his partner was in the military. He was in Iraq at the time, no, in Afghanistan. So he was the one doing behind the scenes, doing the funding or something of it. And he was taking care of the update. Him and his wife were taking care of the daily operations. So I mean, they had it together. It was dope. If I had any problem, he was like, I got it, and he fixed it. So I'm modeling the same thing. Like, hey, let's do it. Because there are people out here there are good people out here to work for, and there are people out here that care about the driver, not just themselves. And that's me. I don't care. Just to be honest, I have money. I have other means of income that come in, so I don't have to cheat nobody out of nothing. I don't have to take anybody's money, penny pinch, and do all that stuff. If I make a mistake in somebody paying somebody, and I reckon it's easy fix. either Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, whatever it is, straight to you. It doesn't matter, you know, because I care about you guys being happy and on this road, because I know how I was. Because I did have a problem with him one time. I was getting doing the 60-40 split or whatever, and he charged for the for like a month. He charged for some kind of, what is it? For the, not the fuel tax, but the tolls and stuff like that. Panther pays your tolls, and if you go through the toll or not, it don't matter. You don't have to, you know, you keep that money. If you want to take a different route, you keep that money. So he was charging for tolls, and I wasn't getting none of the tolls or whatever. And I'm like, hey, bro, you know, we had in the contract, it states that, yeah. So he was like, oh man, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And he fixed it that day. There was a Zelle amount straight to me that day. And he was like, I got you. So that's where I'm at with it. And I know this is a long video, but to me, it was pretty informative about some of the stuff with Schneider. Let me see if I think about anything else. I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying that at all. The company jobs they had when I was there was some of the best options you would ever find. Just depending where you're at. Like in Ohio, I had tons of options. I even looked in Texas because I wanted to move to Texas back then. And they had so many like almost like local type positions and work so many hours and work so many days on, and this it was some of the best. Like they had one in Illinois, Joliet, that you would work, you would slip, it was almost like a slip seat, and you rotate. And I was like, can I get another truck and put that on there? They was like, yeah. So I could have brought 2 trucks over there, had 2 drivers running certain time and the other driver driving the other time, or I could have just put my truck over there and had 2 drivers running my truck and doing double the, you know, work because it was a slip seat at a rail. They were just picking up some rail going like maybe 2 hours away and then bringing it back, whatever. And it was like, oh my God, like I was trying to get on that thing so hard. But yeah, so they had options. So I'm not going to say they don't, and I'm not going to say they don't probably pay. They probably pay better now, you know. But I just wanted to give you guys a backstory of how I, you know, ended up leaving there, and some of the stuff they offered. Now the safety. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. The safety. They really for real about the safety. So even as an owner operator, like every month or every 3 months, whatever you got to do, you got to get on your phone or come in and do some kind of training, like winter training or driving or whatever. They still got Luma training here at Dart that I got every month, at the beginning of the month. I got to go on my phone and push the right answers and push done, and it's like, all right, it's done. But there it was a little bit more extensive, that you had to, sometimes you had to come in and do this. Like every 3 months you had to come in to a terminal, do this stuff on the computer, and it's like, why am I going out of my route to go here? And then every year you had to do a freaking driving test again. No lie. You had to come in and do a training just like you done forgot how to drive. You didn't have no accidents to it a whole year or no nothing, and you still got to come in and do a driver test every. It's like, why am I doing this? But anyway, I hated that. I hated the military aspect they were doing. They were trying to, you know, it was too much for me. It's like, I came here for freedom to do the things that I want to do. That's why I came here. I don't like this, but I like, you know, I loved it, but I didn't like that. So that's all I'll say. Like, if you're okay with doing some of those things, it's a perfect company for you. I promise. So that's all I'll say about that. I know this took up forever. It's 29 minutes. It probably only get watched for like 13 seconds. That's fine. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, man, just hit me up, man. I'm back at it. I remember I had thousands of questions and all that stuff when I was doing these videos like 4 or 5 years ago. So if you guys got any questions, I'm answering them. You post them here, whatever, and I'll get to them. And most of the time, some of the community don't answer them before I get to it. So, all right, man, you guys be safe out here. And if you're trying to get into this industry, hit me up. I got the answers. Lord willing, he'll give me the wisdom to have these answers for you. All right, peace.